Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade in
Shade
the
in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl, Treese, in the
It's
holiday
Mel.
spirit.
Yes, she is.
And I don't know if you can see the lights. They're a little, we got some technical difficulties going on.
Jesus
But thank
Christ.
you guys. And welcome. We're here to review if I believe it's Love and Marriage Huntsville. We only got one show right now. That's terrible. But Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 5, episode 14. If you haven't already, Shade Squad, please make sure that you hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, please forgive us because I have been under the weather. Like y'all know that I think I said it last episode. I was like, watch out for these RSVs, these flus, and I guess words are powerful, y'all. Stop saying out loud. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, so here we are. So thank you, and excuse my tardiness. But let's get into it because we got a lot to talk about. And I loved Mel this episode. She was giving, and that's why she's money making Mel. I love it. Let's get into it and let's get shady.
I got water this time, y'all.
We see Tisha. She pull up to the black for a drink with Marceau. They're having a date day instead of a date night. He says they've been busy, but right now that's been consistent. I said, okay, Marceau. And they've been scheduling their lives around date night versus scheduling a date night into their lives. Okay. I guess we could all learn from that. And Martell was out in these streets and they taming cougars, and apparently
We already knew Jalen. We already knew Jalen was a cougar tamer.
right. I ain't gonna put no. She said she happy she got a man, so I'm gonna.
You gonna leave that alone, huh?
But now, apparently, Martell, we all know this is when the buzz about Sheree kind of hit the streets, and so he lets Tisha know. Well, speaking of Martell, I have invited Mel here today. And Tisha questions, well, why today? And he said he didn't specify today, but Mel stated that that day was good for her. So, she was just pulling up. Now, Tisha feels some type of way that he's texting Mel without her knowing and felt like she should have been made aware
I
of
think number one, sir, why are you inviting her to our date day?
date day to our establishment. We could meet at the coffee house. We could meet at the lab. I don't know. But whatever. But you already know. We're gonna get into that. Let me continue. So Marceau, says that his assistant texted her, and Tisha feels like it should have been a group text then. So, Tisha says it's disrespectful, and she does not like that at all.
Oh,
Wait,
did you see her face though? At all?
at all.
You ain't like that either, huh, Tree?
No, it need to be a group text. Nails needs to know where your ass is at. So Marceau points out how Tisha's meeting with Martell wasn't disrespectful, but she feels somehow his meeting with Mel is, and that it's more of a personal thing. So then he brings up to Tisha, well, you met with Martell and it wasn't an issue. And she's like, but Mel is not my friend. She has claimed me to be her enemy and we're cordial. Now Marceau tells Tisha she's a jealous wife. And my notes say, why did he do that? Wrong answer.
Period.
She says, I'm never jealous of anything or anybody, okay?
Let him know, boo.
Because Tisha already knows. She already said she's taking the house, the kids, and the dog. She wants it all, okay? So now, Marceau tries to explain that after their meeting as a group, if there was going to be something that disrupted or brought drama to it, he thought he should bring it up. So Tisha is confused, like, well, what did Mark say? And when Marceau explains that he already told her what Mark said, Tisha's still confused as to why he needs to have a one-on-one with Mel. So Marceau just doing what he thinks he's supposed to do in his words. Tisha says, in the confessional that she feels that her meeting with Martell when him and Marceau are cordial, and Marceau meeting with Mel when she's declared her enemy, as I said before, doesn't really sit right with her. Marceau says to Tisha he realized after the dinner her and Mel hadn't moved on, and he said he wants to remain cordial, and Tisha says she wants to too, but it's not believable. Yeah, it's not believable. And so Marceau thinks that this is stupid and he walks off, but comes back because he not stupid and knows that Tisha is worried about this narrative that there's something between he and Mel, or rather, that you got a thing for Mel, Marceau. That's what it really is. But anyway, because trust me, Mel
Well,
is.
that's what the rumors are.
Huh?
That's what the rumors are, and that's what he's talking about.
No, and I know that's what the rumors are, but there's nothing between you and Mel. That's you pining for Mel. That ain't got nothing to do with Melody. Melody is not checking.
She's not.
Yeah. Um. So,
You know,
he
you a
tells,
liar, cheater, deceiver, heartbreaker.
okay, that's your bad. So Tisha's really hurt by him calling her jealous. And he tells Tisha she was being a jerk. Tisha says in confessional that she feels like her partner should respect where she is and if she isn't ready to move on. And he tells her as they're leaving Black, she's ridiculous and it's frustrating, but it's time to move on.
You know what's crazy to me? So she said why she got upset, and he said, well, I'm upset that you called me disrespectful.
I'm upset because you upset. I said,
Right? If that ain't some narcissist, huh?
manipulative.
To meet up with Mr. Chris Fletcher to help him look for a vineyard for his Ines wine event. They're checking out the preservation company. And Marcel is on his little bougie-ish. He's like, I just threw a nice little fancy little get together in Atlanta. This is a little too.
It's a bunch. It's outside. I'm not. Don't
He
get
said
me
it's
wrong.
too rustic for him, is what he said.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. If I was throwing, the yard sale for doors, if I mean restoration, I get it, like the whole, if I was throwing a housewarming party or a renovation or something but when we're celebrating wines, I get the doors, the oak, the wood, like I get where he was going. I swear to God, I get where he's going.
You talking about Chris?
No, Martell.
Marcel didn't like it.
But it wasn't Chris's idea. He just said he had Chris meet him up there. He
Oh,
didn't
see, I thought maybe.
No. He said I asked Chris to come up here and help me show, like, give me his opinion.
But then I felt like Chris didn't really see nothing wrong with it. Like he's just like,
No. Chris
Or
said
he was saying like you'd have to pay for
if
the
you spend
decor,
enough money for decor,
or you can get another place and you don't got to pay for the event and not pay for the decor.
Look like this.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
It can't look like Home Depot and we having a party. Well, who said that?
I can't say shit. So all Chris care about is Uncle Sam gonna be there? Have you made up with Uncle Sam?
Have you written a speech, motherfucker?
Okay, period. And he says he verified, yes, he will be there. He understands why he got upset. He's like, he wouldn't even talk to me for a little while. I had to ask for forgiveness through his mama. Okay, because he would not pick up the phone for me. Okay, and of course, as per usual, as he tells everyone, he lets him know that he went to Destin with Mel because Mel invited him. I think it's just so important for him to say that Mel invited him. It is just it's so important for him to say. But he lets him know that, it was a great trip. He did see Tisha and Marceau. They popped up, they wasn't too far. And Chris says, he hasn't seen him in a while, but we need to have a sit down and talk to him about these comments in reference to their time in Atlanta. And he basically says that he felt like he acting like he's a scapegoat, like he's been a scapegoat for him. And he's like, I was only with him for a few hours, like it really wasn't nothing. That he was like, I was with him from like 4 to 4:30. Now And listen, I can see Marceau still trying to get out of this. Like, it's a picture of somebody's back. Like, how do we know what time this happened? I think Chris is,
Hey,
huh?
that's his bag.
Is his bag.
That's his bag.
But what Chris is basically saying that he was only with him for a couple hours. Okay, so he don't really know why he's making it seem like that's who he was with the whole time.
And Chris didn't like that because I remember it was a whole controversy. And y'all know Shade Spot. I be in these YouTube streets and these live streets. And Chris felt some type of way because his wife was like questioning, like, well, what you mean? So y'all was with some, because he was not, what he don't want to say is he was not with Marceau. But he said it.
And of
I'm
course,
sure
Martell caught on. He's like, "Oh, okay, this is in reference to his back photo." Okay. But yes, they brought it right back. He ended with saying, that him and Mel left Destin on a great note, and he invited her to the event. And, they'll have to wait and see if she shows up. Now, Mel, she shows up at Black. After the Tisha already took off, Tisha didn't want to have shit to do with it. Tisha was like, "I'm going to get my kids. I ain't got time."
I'd rather have more fun with my kids, and y'all,
Period.
that'd be bad when you feel like that. That'd be bad. Not bad. I mean, you should, but not when you were supposed to be spending a couple
Adult time. Yeah.
Right.
And he basically let her know that he's happy and glad that Martell are figuring out their co-parenting thing and focusing on what's most important, of course, their children. And he opens up about the conversation that they had over dinner, talking about overstepping boundaries on social media, and kind of segues into Kimmy letting him know, hey, you need to have a conversation with your brother, Mark. Okay. And in this conversation, basically he let him know that the way he conducts himself on social media, basically, and his, like his behavior is not warranted and it's having an impact on him and his family. And Mel basically asked, in this conversation, you gonna talk about me? Where do I come in? Why am I here?
Right. Excuse me. Why am I here?
Basically.
Oh, it was about my mom who's a very grown ass. She's a grown ass woman. Oh, okay. And your brother is a grown ass man. Oh, and it had nothing to do with me nor you. Oh, okay, okay.
She basically says that I'm a responder because he felt like she needed to know this in case he says anything on social media. I'm giving you a heads up. She says,
Basically, I think okay. So I will say this. I'm gonna give Marceau his whatever. The reason why he did that is I feel because we all seen Mark be like, I don't give up. So if Mark really feels that strongly and is gonna say what he's gonna say, or if Miss Van does something that sets him off, or he wants Mel to understand it's not
it has nothing to do with him.
This is literally just Mark, and I can't control that. So I think he was just trying to get her to understand what the triggers are. The difference is Mel is like, my mom is a grown-ass woman and Mark is a grown-ass man. And I'm not going to talk about something that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Let me tell you something. Mel said that she does not even want to discuss his brother. She said, look, I hope I don't sound ridiculous.
Twice.
Okay, but I do not know who this man is. He could be walking down the street. I do not know who this man is. I am sorry for this man. Okay. She pulled a Keke Palmer on this man. She said, I've seen this man twice in my life. We do not need to discuss him. Okay. But basically, yes, all in all, he was basically just trying to give her a heads up. He felt like he did it. And, she ain't really, take too kindly to it. And he feels like she's been warned.
Kimmy and Maurice are apparently hosting a dinner with the original six. Now, Tisha and Marceau arrive, and Tisha is shocked that Marceau decided that he was going to cook. Tisha says that she ain't had this Marceau in a while. And he says in confessional, he knows Maurice can't cook like that. So he wanted to step up as a big brother and help him out. Is it big brother or little brother? Whatever. I'm confused. I always get that, whatever. They brothers. So they catch up, and Tisha tells them that, they've been traveling. They went to Atlanta and Dallas, and then they ended up in Pensacola, where they just happened to be right around down the street from Mel and Martell. um, Now Kimmy can't believe this. She's like, "Oh, really? That's just, So she's all in because she's been out of touch. We understand what Kimmy's been going through. So Tisha tells her Mel's energy was good and Martell was just glowing. And Tisha compliments her on how she's looking. And Kimmy tells her, that it's more about her mental state versus her physical health. She says that although she's going through what she's going through, she doesn't want to be left out of the loop and the tea. And we understand, Kimmy. Now, Marceau talks about how good days can turn bad out of nowhere, and brings up the issue with how he told Tisha he was meeting with Mel to Kimmy. And she feels like, well, I set that expectation with Maurice early on.
Period.
So it may have been a miscommunication between two of y'all because I let him know, single, married, dating, you just ain't gonna be out here having lunches and meeting up with ladies. That's not what we're doing. I
believe it.
I believe it. Tisha questions Marceau in the confessional why he couldn't just speak to Mel at the dinner they were having that evening, and Marceau admits he didn't think about that.
But guess what? I think she would have gave you that idea had you spoke to her about it sooner.
Well, I guess the assistant didn't put that on her calendar. So now Martell arrives for dinner and feels very underdressed in his hoochie daddy shorts. Apparently, this is something that he's doing now. This is what he likes to do.
I guess the kids like him. He said he gonna look. Everybody must like him.
Tisha and Kimmy ask about what Martell has been up to, and they heard that he's been out with Sheree. So Kimmy wants to know how they met, and Martell is like, "Okay, Kimmy, stop." And she says in confessional she's not sure why he's being so tight-lipped when the whole internet know about it.
Period.
When Mel arrives, Martell is impressed. She has on a white dress. And on that day, that would have been their 14th anniversary. So he thinks it's cool that they're able to sit and have dinner together. Martell, you're reaching.
Period.
So Kimmy, they're sitting down having dinner, and Kimmy's asking Mel, well, how the kids are doing, how their summer's going. And when Mel responds, Martell says, well, you can ask me. They're at my house. It's 7 days off, 7 days on, remember? So Mel was like, look, I see you here trying to be petty in this moment, but that's not what we're doing. Kimmy asked me. Okay? My name is Melody Cherie, not Martell Holt. So now Martell invites everyone at the table to his wine event in Huntsville, and they ask Mel if she'll attend. She says she needs to check her schedule. So then Marceau questions, will she bring a +1? And she says she has to check her schedule again. Now,
he's like, if you're free or you're bringing a +1. She's like, I need to check my schedule. Thank you for the invite. Mel.
So Mel tells us in confessional, y'all, that Martell has been sharing information about her side dish.
Coleslaw.
Since their trip to Destin, and she's not in a good place with him right now. So Mel mentions that she hasn't seen Kimmy since Stormy, and Kimmy admits that she hasn't seen much of anybody since Stormy's party. She's been in her house to herself. And then she brings up why she wanted to bring them together again. She tells Mel and Martell she was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. She talks about the chemo and radiation, and she says, so although she appreciates Mel reaching out, but also appreciates her giving her space to deal with it and come and talk to her when she's ready.
Mm-hmm.
So Mel says Kimmy revealing she has breast cancer hit her like a ton of bricks, and says that she's there and wishes she felt she didn't have to deal alone. Kimmy lets them know that she appreciates the times when she can laugh and be around. He talks about how even fractured, they're amazing. And Kimmy gets emotional knowing that they put things aside for her. And I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of cry at the episode, at the end of the episode, because I was like, they did, even fractured, it was beautiful what Maurice said. It's still beautiful. So kudos to them, y'all.
Yes.
Prayers up again for Kimmy. And yeah, guys, if you have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And guys, we're on the Christmas holiday. I need to get well. My son is now under the weather. So we got a lot going on. As you can see, I'm recording from the living room because I can't go too far. So yeah, y'all, we will catch y'all after the Christmas holiday, but we wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Enjoy
Merry Christmas.
And friends, and definitely don't take it for granted. Make sure you wear your mask in close proximity because the shit is real. And we love y'all. And have a good night.
Mwah. Good night.